Diki suara masuk?
Belum masuk.
Suara saya.
Jadi suara kita dia.
Pagi Pak, pagi semuanya.
Pagi Pak. Selamat pagi. Good morning everyone.
Pagi.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. Boleh saya minta tolong namanya di rename dengan apa? Dengan nama institusinya di depan atau dengan nama company-nya di dalam kurung?
Oke.
Ini lagi nyari.
Ini suara sudah masuk.
Mana? Kamu sudah apa? Binan, oh? Split kanan. Oh, split kanan. Bahaya nggak kedengaran.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in this Zoom meeting, Socialization of the UNDP procurement process. And let me introduce myself. My name is Ferania Andrea, or you can call me Rara. I am a senior advisor for sustainable energy from UNDP Indonesia. So in this, I think while waiting for others to join, it has been 5:10. So let's start the discussion as we plan. So for the beginning, I would like to present to you the access project. What is the access project and what is the expectation of the result at the end of 2023? While we are having now 50 participants, glad to have you here. Thank you so much for your interest. Appreciate if unspeaking participants to mute your microphone, so then it will not intervene to the discussion. So the context of today event is actually share with you about the opportunity which access projects or accelerating clean energy access to reduce inequality that will be implemented during 2020-2023 will bring, and I would like to invite the participations from the engineering, procurement, and constructions company or procurement and constructions company to participate and submit the open tender for the construction of the power plants in Indonesia. The second main agenda, so I will just briefly introduce you to the access project. The next presentation will come from my colleague, Pak Martin Kurnia, who is the from the procurement team of UNDP that will explain how is the e-procurement process in UNDP. So access project. So the background of the access project, as you may know, that the archipelagic context of Indonesia has been challenging for the government to achieve 100% electrification, but that's a national priority. The challenges include also not only the geographical condition, but also limited funding resources. The promotion or utilization of renewable energy for the electrification program is also need a high initial cost. So in that context, UNDP and Government of Indonesia is collaborating and get the funding support from KOICA, Korea International Cooperation Agency in Indonesia, to work hand in hand to achieve the target of the electrification. So UNDP Indonesia finally signed the grant agreement with KOICA in April 2020, and the implementing partner for these projects actually consists of 6 ministries in Indonesia and in Timor-Leste. So this project is also not only implemented in Indonesia, but also in Timor-Leste. Partner in Indonesia is Ministry of Energy, and the government partner in Timor-Leste is the Ministry of State Administration. UNDP Indonesia act as an overall projects coordination lead. So the main activities of the projects in Indonesia and Timor-Leste. So the socialization of this UNDP procurement process will focus on the UNDP Indonesia, but actually the system will be mirroring the same as UNDP Timor-Leste. So let me share with you what would be the activities of access project in Indonesia and Timor-Leste. So we will have a construction of 23 off-grid solar PV power plants in Indonesia in 23 villages in 4 provinces. We also will provide the training and certification to the solar PV local operators in coordination with the Ministry of Energy. We will facilitate the villages to establish a local renewable energy service enterprise in order to sustain the infrastructure that will be built. And then, of course, we will disseminate the results. What would be the main activity in Timor-Leste? In Timor-Leste, we are not going to construct the power plants. Rather, we are going to procure and install 1,000 units of LTSHE, or the highly efficient solar lamp system, that Indonesia has experienced, or Ministry of Energy in particular, has implemented it since 2017, I think, until 2019. And we will have also construct 11 units of solar PV water pumps to address the clean water access issue in remote area in Timor-Leste. We will also do the training and certification for the maintenance and operation, establishment of the local institution, and disseminate the result. So as you can see, these are the expected results by 2023 that we will see on the ground resulted from the access project. We will have an infrastructure, but we will also have a skilled personnel certified institution that can run and operate the facilities. So what are the intention of the opportunity that we would like to share with you? Actually, focus on this infrastructure development. The solar PV, the off-grid solar PV power plants in Indonesia, and also the 11 solar water pumps and the highly efficient solar lamp system for Timor-Leste. These are the location of the projects in Indonesia. This will be 23 villages in 10 districts in 4 provinces: West Sulawesi, Southeast Sulawesi, East Nusa Tenggara, and Central Kalimantan. This is in more detail locations. We have also the village locations and the estimate number of household and also the pre-feasibility study result to estimate the capacity for the solar PV power plant. As you can see, as it is for the remote area, the size is not big. The maximum size is around 110 kilowatt peak for one village. So the installation will consist of the power plants, the electricity distribution line, and the house, the installation for the house for the houses. We are now conducting the detailed feasibility study and detailed engineering. We expect that this detailed engineering will be completed by mid of November, and that will be the basis for us to launch the bidding process. This is the location for Timor-Leste, in Dili, Bobonaro, and Manatuto in 25 villages. And these are the location where we are going to build the solar PV water pumps, while for the distribution and installation of 1,000 solar lamp system will be distributed across these 25 villages. So I think that is the brief about access project. The plan, the timeline, while we are for Indonesia in particular, we are now finalizing the detailed feasibility study and engineering design. And we plan to launch the open tender end of November or the beginning of December. For that purpose, I would like to invite my colleague, Pak Martin Kurnia, to share the e-procurement process of UNDP. So all the partners or the companies who are participating and interested to submit can have more information about the process and can anticipate before the due date. And in addition to that, we would like to also invite you to submit expression of interest. It's like a pre-bidding process that we are going to circulate maybe in tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And the participants of this meeting will also be invited to submit this expression of interest. Pak Martin will also explain briefly about what is the what we expect from the expression of interest. So I will combine the question and answer later on after the presentation of Pak Martin. I think that would be fine for everyone, unless there is a very burning question. I will invite if there is one or two burning questions about the access project. Otherwise, we are going to combine the question and answer later on after my colleague's presentation. Anybody who wants to ask question can type it in the chat room. Also, while we are continuing with the presentation. So please feel free to write your question in the chat room. Thank you. I would like to invite Pak Martin.
Thank you, Bu Rara, and good morning to all. Thank you for attending these presentations. So I would like to introduce me and my colleague, Pak Yusef. We are both from procurement unit, and we will help you to understand what are the steps required for in procurement to submit your bid, especially since we are introducing e-tendering system, which is through online submission. So you will get better understanding on how how to submit through the e-tendering system. Okay, first I would like to show you the types of tender documents that we have in procurement of UNDP. We categorize two different type of tender process, which is below 115,000. We usually use request for quotation for goods and civil works, and request for proposal using RFP low value for services. For the value above 150,000 US dollar, we are using invitation to bids for goods and civil works, and request for proposal for the consultancy services. For the invitation to bid, it is an formal invitations to submit the bid. Usually, this is associated with the requirements that are clearly and concisely defined. The estimated procurement value using ITB will be more than 150,000. For ITB, price is the sole determinant in making the award, where all qualifications or requirements and technical criteria are met. We will award the contract to the lowest bidder. The vendor who will normally given 10 to 15 business days or more to respond, depending on the complexity of the requirement. In some cases, which involve large and complex contracts, vendor may be asked to pre-qualify through expression of interest. For the evaluation of offers, each procurement method, we have different evaluation method. For when we are evaluating RFQs and ITBs, price will be the most important element. So this in contrast with RFP that relies mostly on the technical evaluation. The technical component primarily determines whether the proposal will be accepted or declined. The evaluation itself is done through the preset criteria, which will be shared with you in the tender documents. This clearly indicates the criteria that will be used to evaluate your bidding documents. When we examine, evaluate, and comparing offer, UNDP may consider price as well as the other non-price factors. This includes the cost, operation, maintenance, repairs, and the delivery of or completion of time, functional characteristic of the goods, terms of payment and guarantee, vendor performance record within UNDP or other UN agencies, and also the vendor presence in the local market. But we always encourage international competitions. By having joint venture or consortium with the local company will be one of the best solution to accommodate international company to join with UNDP competition. For the terms of contract, in order to become a vendor to UNDP, you must accept the general terms and conditions of contracts. A copy of this GTC is included in the bidding document, so you will have this also when you receive the bidding documents. UNDP procurement staff may not modify these terms of contract, and any alterations requires the advice and consent of the legal support office. For the full list of the model contract and GTC are listed in the link that showing below. I will show you this website later. For how to submit your bids using the e-tendering system. The e-tendering module is actually designed to facilitate the UNDP tender process through the online interaction system. The system itself aims to enhance the integrated and transparency of the tender process. It will also enable to streamline the procurement process. You can use e-tendering to submit your bids, view the solicitation document, and to receive automatic notification from the system whenever the event has been modified. You can use this link for to get the guideline video or the instruction on how to use e-tendering system. I will now show you the wait. Now, if you go to the website that I have shown you before, this is UNDP website that explains how we buy goods, services, and works. If you scroll down, there is a list of the contract model and also general terms and conditions that you can refer to because this is what we will use once you will get awarded with the contract. Okay. Now, next, this is the information on how to use e-tendering system. In here, there's a link for presentations on the UNDP e-tendering system and also 2 videos to guide you on how to register bidder profile on e-tendering and also how to submit bid on e-tendering system. I will now show you on how to on this video to better guide you on how you can use this e-tendering system to your for your company.
Welcome to this video guide on how to register a bidder account in the online e-tendering system for the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. If you have a profile in the UNDP e-tendering system but cannot remember the password, do not register again. Skip to the end of this video to see how to reset your password. This guide is for first-time users of e-tendering who wish to participate in a UNDP tender as a supplier and need to register their bidder profile on the UNDP e-tendering system. Please note that the steps outlined in this guide have been simplified for quick reference. For more detailed information on how to register a bidder profile and submit a bid on e-tendering, please review the detailed e-tendering bidder user guide document, which you can find in the UNDP public website used for making tender announcements. If you experience any technical issues during registration and require further assistance, please contact the focal point of the Procurement Office as indicated in the solicitation document for the tender you wish to bid on. The first time a bidder enters e-tendering, a one-time registration process is required. Bidders only register once and thereafter enter e-tendering with their own username and password. There are 4 key actions to the registration process. 1. Log in using generic credentials. 2. Click on the Register Bidder link. 3. Register bidder profile details. And 4. Confirm registration and create a new password. To start the registration process, go to etendering.partneragencies.org and log in with the username event.guest and the password Y2Change. Click on Login. Remember that if you already have a profile registered, do not create a new profile. Instead, use the forgotten password link to reset your password. Skip to the end of this video for detailed instructions. When you are logged in with the guest account, Event Guest, you can search for tenders and download tender documents without having to register by clicking on View Events and Place Bids. Please refer to the main user guide or the video on how to submit bids for detailed instructions. To start the registration process, click on the Register Bidder link. Please wait for the system to load the data and the registration process to start. Depending on connectivity, this may take a few minutes. There are 8 steps to register a bidder profile. Step 1. For question number 1, select Business if you are a company or Individual if you are an individual consultant. For question number 2, select both. Click on Next. Step 2. Type in the name of your company. The name must correspond to the entity name as registered legally. Special characters are not allowed. If you receive a system error message indicating that your company name already exists, do not create a new profile with another name. Most probably you already have an account and must activate it instead of creating a new one. Use the forgotten password link to reset your password if you do not remember it, or contact UNDP for support. Create the users for your company. Enter first name, last name, email address, telephone number, and select a username. Avoid using specific names as usernames, as this is an information that cannot be changed later. Instead, indicate the company name and title or position. The username should not contain special characters. Please make sure the email address indicated is valid and that you have access to it. The system will send the temporary passwords and any future correspondence to this email address. You can add a second user by clicking on the Save and Add Another User button. Enter the relevant information for the second user. Please note that the user ID must be unique. Click on Next to continue to the next step. Step 3. Enter the company address. Start by choosing the country where your company is registered. Click on Change Country to select your country from the list. Click on Next to continue to the next step. Step 4. This step is optional and does not need to be completed. Click Next to continue to the next step. Step 5. This step is optional and does not need to be completed. The system automatically links the company address with the company's users. Click Next to continue to the next step. Step 6. Read the UNDP terms and conditions for using the e-tendering system and check the box. Click on Finish to continue to the next step. Your company profile is created in the system, but registration is not completed yet. Click OK. You will receive an automatic email containing your username, temporary password, and instructions on how to create your own password. As a first step, clear the internet browser history and close the browser. Then open the e-tendering page again. Log in with the username and the temporary password received via email. Make sure you type in the password correctly. Click on Login to continue to the next step to choose your own password in the Password Change Request page. Type in the temporary password received via email. Type in the new password. Type in the new password again to confirm. The password must be a minimum of 8 characters long, contain at least 1 uppercase letter and 1 lowercase letter, and at least 1 number. Now your registration is complete and you can start participating in tenders. In this part of the video, you will learn how to reset your password if you have forgotten it. Go to the e-tendering page and click on Forgotten Password. In the subsequent page, type in your username and email address. Click on Submit. If you do not remember your username and email address, contact UNDP for support. Select the answer to the security question linked with your profile. Click on Submit. The system will send a new temporary password to the specified email address. Clear the internet browser history, close the browser and open it again. Log in with your username and the temporary password received via email. Make sure you type in the password correctly. Click on Login to continue to the next step to choose your own password in the Password Change Request page. Do not click on the Change Password link. Complete the next steps for changing the password as shown earlier. Thank you for watching this video. For more resource materials on e-tendering, including more detailed guides and guides on how to submit bids, go to the link shown.
Okay, I will also showing you how to submit the bid through the e-tendering system.
Welcome to the UNDP e-tendering system video guide for bidders. In this video, we will show you how to find tenders and view solicitation documents, submit a bid, manage a submitted bid to view, edit, or cancel it. All UNDP public tenders are announced in the UNDP website in this link. For tenders managed via the e-tendering system, you will need to search and download tender documents directly from the system. To start, go to the e-tendering page following this URL and log in with your username and password. If you are not registered yet, you can still view tender documents by logging in with the guest account event.guest, but cannot submit bids. To learn how to register, read the user guide or watch the video on how to register. If you are registered but do not remember your password, click on the Forgotten Password link to create a new password. Follow the instructions in the user guide or the video on registration. Once you have logged in, either with your account or with the guest account, you can start searching for tenders by clicking on Manage Events and Place Bids, and then View Events and Place Bids. You can search for tenders using different filter criteria. For example, you can search for tenders issued by a specific UNDP country office by clicking on the loop button and selecting a country from the list. Or you can search by the event ID, which is usually provided in the tender notice. You can also search by event name. Once you have selected your filters, click on Search to show search results at the bottom of the screen. Once you have found the tender you are interested in, click on the Event ID hyperlink to open it. Pay attention to the tender deadline in the system. It is based on the New York time zone. You can also conduct advanced searches. For example, one advanced search feature allows you to search for tenders by specific items, such as computers. The system will show all tenders related to computers. Once you have found the tender and opened it, you can view and download tender documents by clicking on the View Bidding Documents link. You will see all tender documents related to this tender, including files generated by the system in PDF and XML. To view and download the documents, click on the Loop button. Make sure your browser does not have a pop-up blocker activated. Once you have reviewed the tender documents and are interested to participate, you can click on Accept Invitation to subscribe to this tender and in order to receive automatic updates and notifications from the system. Note that you must be signed in with your account to be able to do this. When you are ready to submit your bid, click on Bid on Event to start creating and posting your bid response. Please make sure that you do not leave this for the last moment before the deadline. Please note that the Upload XML Bid Response link is not to be used for uploading supporting documents. This is a different feature to create bid response offline, which is explained in detail in the main user guide document. How to upload supporting documents is explained further in this video. The bid response comprises of three main parts: answers to the system bid, factors or questions, unit prices to the line items, and uploading supporting documents. The tender might have a number of questions called bid factors, which the bidder has to respond to. They might be yes or no answers. free text, numeric, or selecting from a list of available choices. Questions marked with a star must be answered. Additionally, when a question is marked by a folder and a red star, it means that a response is mandatory and you must answer the question with an ideal response. Enter the unit price for each of the required items. Follow the instructions in the tender documents. For example, for request for proposals, you must enter the prices in the system as one and upload the financial proposal as a password-protected document. Upload the supporting documents by clicking on View, Add General Comments and Attachments. Before uploading files on e-tendering, note that 1. File names cannot exceed 60 characters. 2. File names and the description of files cannot have special characters. Only letters from the English alphabet are accepted. Click on Upload to start the upload process. Browse through the files and click on Upload once you have selected the file you want to upload. Click on Add New Attachment to upload a new file. Always check instructions in the tender document before uploading attachments. There are usually restrictions on what type of files you will be allowed to upload. For example, to simplify the evaluation process for reviewers, most tenders request that documents are submitted in PDF format and that individual files are consolidated into zip folders. You must read and carefully follow the instructions in the tender documents. You can always save your bid response in the system. It is advised that you start creating your bid response and save a draft in advance so as to not have to upload all supporting documents in the last moment. Be aware that saving for later does not submit your bid. You are simply saving a draft. You can always come back to complete your bid response by opening the event and clicking on the View, Edit or Copy from Saved Bids link and click on Edit Bid Response. To submit a bid, you must click on Submit Bid. Once you have submitted your bid, you should normally receive a bid receipt confirmation email from the system that will look like this. It contains a PDF file attachment with a summary of your bid response. It is important that you check this PDF file to ensure that the response you have entered in the system is what you intended to submit. In particular, check the list of files uploading as part of your bid in the Bid Attachments part of the PDF bid file. This shows a list of all the files uploaded with your bid. Check and make sure you have successfully uploaded all supporting documents as intended. You can always check the status of your bid directly from the system. Go to the My Bid Activity link from your main menu and click on the Event ID hyperlink. Then click on the View, Edit, Copy from Saved Bids. In the next screen, click on the View link, which will open your posted bid in view mode. Pay attention to the status of your bid. To have a bid successfully submitted, the status of your bid must show as posted. Other statuses, like saved or cancelled, indicate that your bid is not submitted. To edit a bid response, go to the Event Details page and click on the View, Edit or Copy from Saved Bids hyperlink. If editing of the bid response is allowed, the Edit Bid Response link will be active. Click on it to withdraw your submitted bid and start editing it. Once you have made the necessary changes, you must click on the Submit Bid button again in order to repost your bid. If you click on Save for Later, you have not posted your bid, and your originally posted bid is also withdrawn, and therefore you will not have a bid submitted in the system. Always click on Submit Bid after you have edited it. If editing of the bid response is not allowed, the Edit Bid Response link will not be active. To amend your bid, first you must withdraw the original posted bid by cancelling it in the system. Navigate from View, Edit or Copy from Saved Bids and click on Cancel. After you have cancelled your bid, the system allows you to create a new bid response. You can use the copy function to copy the bid response you cancelled and then make the necessary amendments. Once you have made the necessary changes, you must click on the Submit Bid button again in order to repost your bid. If you click on Save for Later, you have not posted your bid, and your originally posted bid is also withdrawn, and therefore you will not have a bid submitted in the system. Always click on Submit Bid after you have edited it. If you want to withdraw your bid, you can do so directly in the system. Navigate from View, Edit, or Copy from Saved Bids, and click on Cancel. Then click Yes to confirm your bid withdrawal. There may be several amendments made to the event during the solicitation period. These amendments might be related to changes in deadline, uploading clarifications, or amendments to tender documents and so forth. If a bid is amended, a new event version will be created in the system. In most cases, bids posted to the older version will remain in posted status, but it is important that the bidder checks that their bid response corresponds with the requirements of the newest event version. When significant changes are made to the event, such as edits to mandatory bid factors or line items, the status of a previously posted bid will be changed to cancelled, and you will have to submit a new bid response. In this case, the system will send a bid cancellation notification to the email associated with your bidder account. To create a new bid response, you have to log into the system, go to the event, and click on Bid on Event. This video has provided a brief overview of the main steps for submitting a bid on e-tendering. For more detailed instructions, please refer to the e-tendering user guide manual for bidders. Go to the UNDP Procurement Notice page, procurement-notices.undp.org, and click on More Information for Bidders on the bottom left-hand side of the page.
Okay, so as shown in the presentation previously, these steps will be required for when you are submitting the bid through the e-tendering system. Now, as Ibu Rara has previously mentioned, we tend to use expression of interest first before we go to the ITB tender documents. So in the expression of interest, you will be required to submit your company profile, also with some specifications that required or criteria required to meet with what we need. So for example, to show the financial standing, your previous organization experience, or CV of the personnel that are requested to fulfill this the requirements in the tender documents later. So I think this ends the presentation from procurement. If you do have questions regarding the presentations, feel free to give the questions in the chat box or through the Q&A sessions. I'll give the floor back to Ibu Rara for the next sessions.
Thank you, Pak Martin, for the presentation. So we will open the question and answer session. Let me check in the chat room. There is a question regarding the electric work license from Mr. Byung-Seon Yang. So the question is electric work license granted by the Indonesian government will be required as the qualification for the bidding, or any other license is required? So the answer to this is, although this is the UNDP procurement process and an international open bidding, we will also require and refer to the law or regulation in Indonesia. So as you may be informed regarding the law of the electricity, that all the companies conducting the constructions in the electricity sector, they need the license. for conducting the construction and also the distribution and installation for the electricity. So for that, the answer is yes. We will require the company who participates in the bidding to have this license issued by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. In that context, to encourage the wider participation, we can also accept a form of the consortium of the applicants. So the lead of the applicants can have this license, and other company, for example, the international company, can form a consortium with an Indonesian company who has this license. So there is one possibility, and we would like to encourage that as well, to widening the participation. I hope that can answer the questions. I would like to invite if there are other questions. Please, you can use the raise hand or unmute your microphone directly.
Maybe everybody have been clear about the procurement in Indonesia, Bu Rara. So there is no question, maybe.
That sounds good. So I think the video that Pak Martin has already presented, that is also simple, and I think it's self-explanatory. It's easy to follow. So please feel free to go through the link of the procurement UNDP Indonesia and take a look at videos for your handy information. I also see here, I would like to invite, there's a participants from Korean company. If you would like to ask more information. Let me see. Okay, there is a need for the tutorial video. So we are going to send the presentation to your registered email to all of the participants. We will share with you the presentation of the access projects that I presented, and also from Pak Martin Kurnia. So you will see the link, and then you can see again the video. So there's a question from Prince Tigana. How the project or projects will be divided for Indonesia and Timor-Leste projects? Is it divided into 2 tenders, and are all of the location is going to be 1 tender or several? So the first is the tender process for the access, the activity in Indonesia and Timor-Leste will be a separate tender. Let me share with you the indicative, timeline. So as you can see, the tender process will be separate, Indonesia and Timor-Leste. UNDP Timor-Leste has the same e-procurement process as presented today. So in the second question regarding the locations, would that be 1 package or that will be a separate? Let me take an example of Indonesia project. We have 4 provinces. The expression of interest that we are planning to share with you for the submission or for the interested company to apply, actually also give us an information how we are going to structure the tender. So far, we are thinking to develop the 4 provinces into different lot. But there's also the possibility that one bidder bid for the whole package of that 4 provinces or the 23 locations. The same approach may also be applied by Timor-Leste tendering. Maybe Pak Martin would like to share information about that, Pak. What are the possibilities we structure the tender later on?
Okay, thank you, Ibu Rara, for the opportunity to share with the colleagues here. For the structure of the tender process itself, first we will do expression of interest. This will the aim for this exercise is to receive the number of potential applicants to join with our bid. So later on, based on your informations of your company and also your capacity to do the bids, we will send you the tender documents and invite you to submit your bids. The submission itself will need to be conducted through e-tendering system. I can show you if Mbak Rara can stop sharing, so I can show you the example of the tender documents that we have right now. So this is the example of the invitation to bid tender documents that we currently have in the procurement notice. This is for the construction of health and school facilities in Central Sulawesi, and still active in the procurement notice. So you can go take a look of this example. In here, we will define the access to a tendering system with the event ID for you to check. We usually have pre-bid conference. This is to gives you some of the guideline on how to submit your bids and also some instruction regarding the content of the ITB documents. So within this ITB, there is a section for the letter of invitation. For the first section will be the letter of invitation itself. Second section for the instruction to bidders. This is usually using the template. And then for section 3, the bid datasheet. This will contain the informations that you need to pay attention to. And then there will be a evaluation criteria that has been explained previously. This will be used to evaluate your bids. So make sure that you take a look at this, and your bid should meet with all the requirement in the evaluation criteria. The section 5 will consist of the scope of work, technical specification, technical drawings, and then probably some other annexes attached to it. In section 6, there will be the returnable bidding forms. This is where you fill in all of your information as the bidders. It consists of bid submission form, bidder information form, joint venture or consortium or association information form. This will include the form of if you are engaging another company as the joint venture, you will need to define who is the main leading contractor for this contract, because UNDP will only sign the contract only with the main leading contractor, while the other company within the joint venture will have to sign the agreement separately with the main leading firm. The other form is for the qualification form, and then format of technical bid, price schedule, and form of bid security. So I will go directly to the bid datasheet. In here, you will see the informations on each of part that will need to be taken into consideration. For example, the language of the bid that you need to submit should be in English, and then you are not allowed to submit the bids in part or subparts, and then there is no alternative bid, so you only required to submit one bid only. And there will be information on the pre-bid meeting, the bid validity period that you need to comply with, and also the requirement for the bid security, the condition for the advance payment, liquidity damage, performance security, currency of the bids. We are UDP is accepting US dollar for international bidders in the bids, and but we are also open for Indonesian rupiah for the national bidders. The deadline for submitting request for clarification question will usually limit it here. For the contact details of the submission of the clarification or question will be addressed in here, and there is also information on whether we issue additional or supplemental information to the ITB, and if there is any question, we will also share with you the question and answer documents through e-tendering system, and also will advertise it in the procurement notice. The deadline will be stated in the e-tendering system, and also for the electronic submissions, the information will be addressed in here. The evaluation method for the award of contract for ITB, we are using lowest price, technically responsive for eligible and qualified bid. The determination of whether we will use lot basis or not will determine later in the tender documents. You can read this later in the ITB documents once we have issued the ITB documents. So hopefully this will give some information on how to the ITB will looks like. This is part of the evaluation criteria, as previously mentioned. This is the eligibility of your company, and then what qualification that can be required to meet with the tender documents. Okay. The part will be consist of two technical and financial for ITB. It will be used as in the technical part will be used as pass-fail basis. Depends on the whether you meet the technical specification required in the big documents or not. In the financial, we will use price comparison as the direct price analysis to your bid. We will also expect you to provide us with the list of proposed staff. In here, this is probably the list of staff required for these tender documents, and also probably the list of equipment that required to do the work. Okay. There is a statement of works and technical specification or bill of quantity will be attached to the documents of the tender documents, technical drawing as well. Let me go through here. This is the other related requirements. So this and section 6, this will explain on the returnable bidding forms or checklists. You will need to fill in all these forms, sign when it is required, where it is required, and also there will be some questions on the bidder information form that you need to fill in. We will share you the Word version of this form, so you can directly fill into it. Okay, for the eligibility and qualification form, you need to fill in all the requested information. Please note that this information will be used against the evaluation criteria that have been mentioned earlier. Okay. So last, after you fill in the price schedule in accordance with what required, the last form will be on the form of bid security. Please note that bid security are mandatory requirement for you to submit the bid, and you need to use the template attached to the tender documents. I think that's the pictures of how ITB will look like. And I forgot to add a simple addition to the presentation that I made. There is also a link for UNDP e-tendering user guide for bidders in here. So you can take a look at the link above the video that video link that I have shared. The presentation material will be shared with you and sent to the registered email. And we will, there is a link in the presentation material to the public website that you can use. Over to you, Mbak Rara.
Thank you, Pak Martin. So that will be those information will be there in the bidding document, yeah, Pak Martin, yeah, the one that you have just shown in the presentation. Let me come back to the chat room. There's a question regarding the foreign company. Would it be considered as a local company? So this is an international open bidding. We invite the international companies to participate. However, we will require that company who submit for the bidding has a permit or license to operate in Indonesia. So it can be a foreign company, but it needs to be legally, has a legal basis to work in Indonesia. And then regarding the technical specification, that will be provided in the bidding document that will be based on, not depend on the contractor, but that will be defined by UNDP during, that will be mentioned in the bidding document. So that will be based on the feasibility study and detailed engineering design that we have been conducting now for the locations in Indonesia, and will be the same for Timor-Leste as well. There's a question maybe Pak Martin can address from PT Sintek Otomasi. Is there a particular template for letter of interest from UNDP? And will there be other documents needed to be attached along the letter of interest? So this is about the expression of interest, ya Pak ya. So let me hand it over to Pak Martin for answer the question, Pak.
Okay. For the expression of interest, we will define what documents need to be submitted. The usual documents that need to be submitted along with the expression of interest is usually on the company profiles, and then together with your business license or registrations documents, the CV of your personnel that can be proposed to join in the contract implementation letter. You will also requested to give a list of contract or previous experience that showing your capacity to implement the contract. So these will all be listed in the expression of interest to be submitted along with your interest or application for the to join with the tender process. After we receive your application for the expression of interest, we will make a list and we'll invite you again for the invitation to bid. So this exercise will be conducted later. The competitive process or all of the other required documents in the ITP will be explained later during the ITP process. We will also conducting the pre-bid meeting to give you more explanation on the ITP documents later. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Martin. So for the clarification, the expression of interest is not the invitation to bid yet. So it's just like a pre-bidding that we would like to assess the market somehow, the supplier who are interested and the capacity that they can offer. That will help us to save the invitation to bid document that fit with the capacity or the supply that can be provided by the market. That's the intention. So there will be two steps that we are going to pursue. First is the expression of interest, and then the invitation to bid, sometimes in early December. That's how we are going to do it, yeah, Pak Martin?
Yes.
Position of the expression of interest and then the invitation to bid. Okay, there's a question from Pak Rahmat Akbar from PT Aston Karya Utama. Is this construction in 23 villages in Indonesia scheduled at the same time? Yes. That's our high call. That's what we expect, that all the 23 locations will be constructed in the same time. So that's why it is important for us to also understand the capacity of the suppliers to conduct this construction simultaneously in 23 villages, and the expression of interest will give us that kind of information based on your shared experience, previous experience. Okay, so is there any more questions? Here I also see Pak Gatot from Ministry of Energy, our government implementing partner. We also have here from KOICA, Indonesia, Ms. Kim, Mas Nika, would you like to have any clarification or comments? Okay, so I think, yes. I think everyone is so, oh, sorry, there is another question. Is the expression of interest information on website or email? Pak Martin, would you like to answer?
Okay, thank you. The expression of interest will be, we will be using both. The expression of interest itself will be posted in the website, and we will also send the invitation to participate in the expression of interest through the registered email that we have collected from the attendants in here. So this is to reach more participation from the market and to ensure that we do not discriminate any bidders. So we will surely advertise this in the website.
Thank you, Pak. So there will be email to everyone who participates today in this meeting. Is there any more questions, clarification? We really appreciate the participations of around 50 people, and we are looking forward also to your participation in the expression of interest and invitation to bid. We encourage also the international company to set the collaboration, the consortium with Indonesian company in this to support the access project implementation. So if there is no more questions, I think that has been a productive, and hope everything is clear. And the list of the required documents and requirement, it will not hinder you to participate. I'm sure you are qualified companies and have been wide experience in this kind of tender for the construction. Oh, there's one question regarding the expression of interest for consortium company. Is it any specific mention on letter? Pak Martin?
Yes, for expression of interest itself, if you are in the form of consortium, joint venture, or associations, you will need to provide some agreement with the other company. So we do know that you will represent which consortium or which joint venture along with the other member of this consortium. So we will address this requirement as well in the expression of interest should you need to send the supporting documents to for this joint venture or consortium entity.
Thank you, Pak Martin. So we expect that in the expression of interest, you could also notify us that you are going to form a consortium for the bidding. And just a follow-up question, Pak Martin, in case there's a plan to form a consortium, is the experience and also the financial or legal standing of the companies should be submitted for all the consortium members or only the lead company?
We expect the legal documents and the registration for all of the companies because there are several evaluation criteria, for example, like the financial standing and the number of contracts, previous experience that will be part of the qualification criteria will need to be specified in the supporting documents. So, and this will apply cumulatively between the joint venture or consortium company. So, for example, if the financial standing requires $1 million require $1 million as the minimum annual turnover, but your company did not have the minimum standard requirement, you can always form a joint venture or form a consortium with the other company to cumulatively meet the requirements. So this will give you advantage on how to meet with all the requirements in the tender documents later.
Thank you, Pak Martin. So basically, the idea of the consortium is to strengthen the capacity for the implementation. So we will assess that as a cumulative capacity of the consortium member. Consequently, then of course, we need you to also explain who will be the consortium, what's the role, and also the financial standing and experience of each of the consortium member. And then there's a question. Oh yeah, that's already addressed. Pak Muhammad Arif asking whether we must sign up first for the account for the expression of interest. For the expression of interest, it will be sent by email. No need to register in the procurement website of UNDP yet. There will be required this registration for invitation to bid later on in December. Thank you. Okay, so I think all the questions already addressed, and hopefully that is sufficient to provide explanation. And in the chat room, Pak Yusuf Milah already pasted the link to UNDP procurement website. There you can also see other open bidding announcement from UNDP. So not only for the access project. If you can also check this link regularly if you are interested to apply for other projects in UNDP. Okay, so I think if there's no further questions, I'd like to invite maybe Pak Gatot. If you would like to say something on behalf of the Ministry of Energy, Pak Gatot.
Okay, thank you, Bu Rara. I think it's enough ya. Maksudnya there is mostly the same for the procurement in Indonesia and procurement in UNDP. I think maybe the company will be familiar with this procurement, Bu Rara.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Gatot. So if there is no further questions, I would like then thank you everyone for your interest to support UNDP, Ministry of Energy and KOICA for the implementation. We are looking forward to receive your submission of expression of interest and later on to submit also the invitation to bid that we are going to launch. We are looking forward to reach out the remote area in Indonesia and provide that with the access of the electricity. So thank you very much. Stay healthy, stay safe, and looking forward to your submission. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Bu Rara.
Thank you, Pak Gatot. Thank you, Pak Martin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Rara. Thank you, Pak Gatot.
Yang hadir, yang menerima yang kita,
Bukan. Nggak tahu, makanya ini kan
ini masih misalnya kita katanya yang